This is how I juggle working as a full-time infusion nurse, per diem hospice nurse, and as a content creator. So I saw 6 patients in total today, a mix of hospice and a mix of infusion patients. So follow along to see how I do it.
Good morning. It's kind of dark right now, but I'm gonna take you along with me today. It's a very busy day. I have like 3 hospice patients and 3 infusion patients, and I'm like I'm a little stressed just because I'm short on time. I just want to make sure that like I have enough time for my patients. So I'm gonna take you along with me. I'm gonna get ready. It's like 8, it's almost 9 a.m. My first patient I'm gonna see is at like 9:30, and then after that it's like back to back to back to back. So I probably won't be done till like 4 or 5 p.m. today. So this is my schedule that I made today. 9:30 I'm gonna go see my first patient. Then like 10 to 10:30 I'm gonna go see my hospice patient. Then at 11 I have an infusion, which is like a 2-hour visit. After that I'm gonna see another hospice patient, and then I'm gonna go see an infusion patient where I'm gonna remove the port, and then after that I'm gonna see another hospice patient. I saw my first patient of the day. It is 10:07. I'm about to see my hospice patient, but let me see how far I am for my next patient. So it's gonna take me about 16 minutes. So I have to leave here like 10:40 the latest. And so I have like 30 minutes with this patient. I usually like to map out everything, so I like to keep my patients in the same area, or not same area. I see where my patients live, and then whoever lives in the same city or close to each other, I group them together so I don't have to drive too far. Right, I just saw that patient literally like 15-20 minutes. Not even, barely. I went in there and saw my patient, did my full assessment, you know, asked them any questions. This patient is A&O times like 2, so they're able to answer simple questions, but they seemed a little confused. So one of the things that we also do is we review their medications and see if they need any refills that I need to send, any supplies I need to send, any questions or concerns. This specific patient also has bath aid, a shower aid. So when they're on hospice, they have a shower aid that comes and gives them a shower like twice a week, and they usually report me for anything that they see. And they were reporting like redness in the armpit, so the patient's gonna need some type of fungal, we're assuming it's like a fungal infection. So we're probably I'm gonna order fungal powder. So I'll get the order from the doctor, send it to the pharmacy, then the pharmacy will go ahead and deliver that for the patient and start them on that, and hopefully that helps. So I have to send everything through email, so I emailed them directly, and we are early, so I have time to do this. I'm gonna get it done right now because sometimes I wait, and when I wait it gets too late. So I'm gonna send this right now. And I do everything through email. So let me message a doctor and get like a nice statin order. So when I send out these emails to the pharmacy directly, what I do is I put in the patient's name and their address and then the order, and then I send it to the pharmacy. The pharmacy should already have all of the information. I also put the patient's date of birth, so I need to add that. And I work mostly on my phone. Like, I'll do everything on my phone. I don't really work through a laptop just because it's so big and bulky. I'm used to working this way. So thing too is when a patient's on hospice, we don't cover like every single medication. There's some medications that we don't cover, and when they're on these like expensive medications, the hospice or Medicare won't cover it because they see it as a form of like aggressive treatment, because we want to get the patients off on literally almost all their meds because their goal is to be comfort focused. And so if there's like medications out there that aren't really gonna help, and sometimes they're causing more harm. For example, like any statin, or risk of UTIs and all these other problems. And especially if a patient's not eating, what is simvastatin going to do if the patient's not eating? So it's supposed to lower your cholesterol levels, but if the patient's not really eating, what's the point of giving it to them? Same thing with type 2 diabetic patients who are on insulin, who are on metformin. If they're not eating and you're giving them insulin, you're giving them metformin, we're just going to drop them and risk having them go into a hypoglycemic state. So these medications, you really have to look at whether or not they're beneficial, and you have to discontinue it. Some families are very resistant to discontinuing a lot of medications because of the fact that
they think it'll still helpful. So a lot of the things that we have to do, we have to educate the family. But you know, sometimes we keep them on until the family's comfortable and they kind of realize the situation and actually see the state of the patient. Then they start to agree with like discontinuing certain medications and just focusing on the most important meds, which is like the comfort kit medications that we send over. We're so good on time today. It's 12:54. I got some 7 leaves for some caffeine, and I also got lunch. So this is my little card table that I put. Literally goes on the steering wheel. Let me show you guys. So it literally goes on the steering wheel like this. It's stable. At lunch, I did not plan on having lunch today, but since like all the appointments have been going so well, they're going on time, I have time. And I normally like to put a good 30 minutes in between my patients. So I just finished it was a Skyrizi infusion, but I have 3 more patients today. My next one, well, I still have to drop off labs. The labs are closed right now. They open at 1 o'clock. I have the labs, so I need to drop off the labs. So every time we do a Skyrizi or like my Crohn's patients or ulcerative colitis patients, I have to draw blood from them and drop it off at the lab. And then hopefully I'll be done by 4. I'm back home. It is officially 4:01. And I am done for the day. Actually, I'm not. I still have to chart. So I had no time to chart today. The thing about charting when it comes to home infusions is that you don't have to chart like right away before the day ends. You do have like a 48-hour leeway to chart. So I am behind on my charting. Sometimes I could get really behind, like 5 days or a week, which is not good at all. I've been kind of working on making sure I stay on top of everything. So today, since it's Friday, those are like the worst days because I usually like say, oh, it's a weekend and then I don't get my charting done, but I do my best to get them done on time. I honestly need to work on that because when I get home, I just want to go to sleep. So it's like 5 p.m. right now and I'm planning to take a quick nap and then chart as much as I can and then head to the gym. So charting is very important. It's different than the hospital because in the hospital you have to get your charting done before you go home, right? But when it comes to home care, you can go home and chart. And some people go home and chart and then some people will go and pick up their kids from school and then go home and get the kids ready, and then when they put their kids to sleep, that's when they chart. So like it depends on each person. But it is best you have to get your charting done at least within the next 48 hours. What happens if you don't? If you don't get your charting done within the next 48 hours, 1, your employer will be upset, and if it keeps happening and happening, they could basically let you go and fire, because these companies get paid for based on the charting. So that's why it's very important to stay on top of your charting and to make sure that you stay compliant with all the requirements.